relationships. Through the MVP Love Hub community, he equips families to love well and lead strong. Healthy relationships build powerful legacies. Please help me welcome Casper Stockham.
Yay.
All right.
And Cheryl, my wife, she is awesome. My better half. So I'm gonna
I
do
love
this without
that.
her. I'm gonna do this without her, but you guys are gonna get a lot from this. I'm gonna share my screen to make sure you can see the presentation. Where is it? Why is it not showing? Let's see. Maybe I'll do oh, here it is. Okay, cool. Hopefully you should be able to see my screen. Can you?
Yes.
Now we
Yes.
can. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So my wife Cheryl and I, I am Love Builders. We were Christian marriage coaches, been doing that for about 18 years. And we've written several books, but we have a new book series out called Mastering Adam. So I wrote Mastering Adam about 2 years ago, and then my wife wrote Mastering Eve about a year ago, and then we have a combined devotional reflection book called Mastering Adam and Eve. And that set is available not as a set, but all books are available on Amazon. But as a set, you can order them through our website. But when I reached out to Brian and we were talking about this concept, I wanted to really incorporate the personal aspect of dealing with AI as opposed to our relationships between us, if we're single, married, or whatever, and AI, because AI is kind of interwoven in our lives now. And in fact, I use a lot of AI to create this presentation, and I'm going to talk about that as we go through. So we're going to talk about how to navigate and master your inner Adam and Eve, and we all have it. Even if we're single in business, we have to basically be both Adam and Eve in our business relationships. We're going to get into that. But I have a question for you. Type of one in the chat if you use AI. How many of you guys use AI right now? And I need to pull up the chat. How do I get my chat and do the screens at the same time? Hold on. I want to see the chat. There we go. Okay, how many of you guys use AI? Okay, and another question for you. Is AI using you? If you feel AI is using you, then put a 2 in the chat. Yeah, yeah. I feel that way sometimes because I use AI a lot. I use ChatGPT and some others, and I even given my AI a name. Didn't have a name at first. It was just AI. But I said, you know what? Let me give this thing a name because I'm talking to it all the time, right? So I call my AI Ezer, which is Ezer. It actually is a Hebrew word for help, Ezer. So I said helper, excuse me, helper. So I call my chat GPT Ezer. And I'm feeding input into it, but you only get out of it what you feed into it. And if you ask the wrong question, your AI will go off in a totally strange direction. And it's like, okay, bring it back down. That's not what I was asking for. You have to really define what you're sharing with your AI. So, so the Adam and Eve personas represent Adam represents vision, responsibility, leadership, and order. That's kind of like the male dominant aspects to this. And Eve represents influence, discernment, creativity, and connection. Women are really good connectors. If you notice a lot of the networking groups, I know the ones that I'm a part of, a lot of women. Women really love to connect. They love to communicate, all those kind of things. Men are like, yeah, yeah, we kind of know it's needed, but it's really not our strong suit. Now, both exist within every person, male and female, and in every business. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're single, then you have to represent both sides of the equation, and it's tougher. Now, if you're a husband and wife team, especially a husband and wife team that are working together, and by the way, that's rare because most husband and wife teams, the wife has her job or business and the husband has his job or business. Rarely do they do the same thing at the same time. So my wife and I am love builders, but she currently has a full-time job. One of our goals is to get her a home so that she can be full-time in the business with me. So that's one of our goals. But until that happens, I have to manage several of these aspects all at the same time, and we all have to do that. When I was putting this presentation together, I asked for some graphics, and I got into a little bit of a tiff with my AI because it was creating these graphics. I'm like, that's not what I asked for. So I had to really get it refined on what I was looking for, and finally we got to a decent place. So AI is neutral, but users are not. And AI can accelerate different areas. And if you're not careful, it can go into different areas that we're not even talking about. It'll take us down a path that we're not even talking about. And if you can be on screen, please be on screen during this time. I really would like some interaction with you guys. So if you can have your camera on, that'd be fantastic. The first thing is discipline or distraction. You can be AI can take you and distract you in a totally different way, especially like the prompts. So you'll ask a question, you'll get an answer. It is, oh, by the way, I can do this. I can wash your clothes. I can go over here. It's whoa, whoa. I'm not asking you for all that. I just needed this one specific thing. Now, sometimes it gives you great suggestions, and that's great, but you have to be the disciplinarian for your AI because your AI, again, it's almost like it has a mind of its own, but it's really responding to your input and feedback. So I've had to say, either that's not what I asked for, that's not what I was looking for. I don't know why you went there, but let's get back. And then it apologizes. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, let's let's get back on track here. Wisdom or dependency? Are you getting so dependent on your AI that you can't operate without it? That's a problem, right? You need to be able to operate. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to move the camera so I can see. So you want to be able to operate your AI, but not be dependent on your AI. You can want to lean on it and use it and all these things, but you don't want to be dependent on your AI. And we're going to get into more of that here shortly as well. Technology doesn't change human nature, it reveals it. So if your nature is chaotic and sporadic, AI is not going to fix that for you. You've got to be disciplined about what you're feeding in because, and I've heard this before on one of the other lessons, what you put in is what you get out. So if you're chaotic and sporadic and you put chaotic and sporadic in, guess what you're going to get out, get out of your AI? You're going to get sporadic conversations out of your AI. Now there's several AIs out there. You know, you've got the Grok, you've got ChatGPT, and there's about 5 others. And everybody has their own pick. And you would think that it's not like mathematics. In other words, 1 + 1 = 2. But when it comes to AI, it's not going to always add up the same. You can put the same input into one AI and get something totally different out of it. So it's not going to be it's not like an adding machine. So you have to be mindful of that. Just going in, it's not something you have to be worried about. Just understand you may not get the same result depending on which AI you're feeding into. Just know that ahead of time. It's fine. It's not a problem. Just know that going in. So here's a thought. If you lack self-mastery, AI just magnifies that lack. So you got to be confident in yourself when you're going into this AI mode because it's a tool. At the end of the day, AI is a tool. So you have to be able to use that tool confidently. Just like if you pick up a hammer, but you really need a screwdriver, it's not going to work on it well. You have to be mindful of the tools that you're using, and AI is just a tool. So let's look at understanding your inner Adam and Eve and why we have this concept going anyway. So Adam's side is purpose, direction, responsibility. Those are the male characteristics of Adam. And the Eve side is influence, desire, communication. Like I said before, women are great communicators. Men, we have to work at it and struggle at it. Now, there's some guys that I've met, they talk all the time. Like, I was thinking of this one guy, Emilio. He does Facebook Lives every day. I'm like, dude, he talk, every day he's doing Facebook Lives. Now, I do them, but I'm not, it's not something I wake up in the morning and say, man, I got to do a Facebook Live. I just have to do it. But he loves to talk, right? So his Eve side is strong when it comes to communication. He loves doing that, and he loves to get clarification on things as well. So he has a strong Eve side when it comes to communication. So just know that these things are in play, and to know that they are something you need to think about. So let's break down. Breakdowns happen when your Adam side advocates. In other words, your Adam side is weak and your Eve side overreaches. Now that happens a lot in marriages and even in business, or just in general, right? If men are lacking, women have no problem stepping up and filling in that role. Now, sometimes, I mean, it's not bad, but what happens is that it's a little skewed. It's not the God version of that situation. I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, and I believe in all that, and the biblical alignment is Adam, Eve, the children. Now, that doesn't mean that's not subservient. That's not anything like that. It just means that there's a structure and an order to things. And when we get out of order, that's when things go awry. Now, in business, again, if you have a strong Adam personality, but you're not nurturing, you're not taking care of your clients, if you're not doing all those things that Eve would do, or the Eve side of you would do, that's when your business start to falter. So you have to work on both sides in a marriage, in your business, what have you. If you don't, both sides confuse their roles. And that's what I was just talking about, where you get confused roles. Where is the timer? I can't remember if I can see the timer.
You have 18 minutes and 23 seconds. I'm tracking
Okay.
for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Just let me know when I get down to like 5 minutes.
I was about to ask you where you need. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
So here's a thought. Most relationship problems today are identity problems, not information problems. Because when I was growing up, we didn't have all the information that we now have at our fingertips. We literally can just type in a question and get the answer almost instantaneously. When I was growing up, we had encyclopedias that were delivered to the home, right? That's where you got your information from, the Encyclopedia Britannica or whatever. But that information was almost 5 years old by the time you got it. Today we have instant access to just about everything we ever wanted to know at our fingertips and right in the palm of our hand. So information is not the problem. Identity is the problem. If you don't identify as a business person, you're going to have a hard time operating as a business person. If you don't identify as a wife, you're going to have a hard time operating as a wife. If you don't identify as a husband, you're going to have a hard time operating as a husband. So we have to make sure that our identities are intact so that we can be the best in that space. We can be the best husband. We can be the best wife. We can be the best entrepreneur. For example, if you're a man and you get married and you say, you know what, I'm a husband, yeah, I get all that, I'm married, but I still want to hang out with the guys. Well, you can hang out with the guys, but if you always hanging out with the guys, that's a problem. That's an identity problem that we have to work at, right? And the same with the women, right? You're single, you're hanging out with the ladies, you're having a great time, you get married, and now the ladies say, "Hey, we're going out to the club tonight. You coming with us?" Well, I'm married. So it's not that you can't go, but you just have to understand that that's not your identity anymore. We always talk about in our relationship training, we always talk about the I and me have to become we. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to go here. We're going to do that. You have to lose yourself, a little bit of yourself, not all of yourself. You can still be you, but it's you're really joined at the hip now with your spouse. to where you can't just run off and just, for days and your spouse not know where you're at. That's not allowed. And if that's happening, then that's an issue. Anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked because I'm excited about relationships, right? But it's the same for business, right? You have a business partner and you guys are, man, oh man, we're gonna launch this business, is going to be great, and they handle this part and you handle this part, and everything is great, and you don't hear from your business partner for like days or weeks. You're like, dude, I thought you were handling the sales or the marketing or whatever. Well, yeah, I got, I was bored, so I just went on vacation. No, you can't do that in a business relationship. That's what I'm talking. So how does AI disrupt relationships and focus? Well, let's look at it. Instant answers without potential wisdom. You can get, like I said, you can get instant answers from AI, no problem, but there might not be any wisdom involved. It's just AI just grabbing information and pulling it in, say, hey, boom, here's what you got. I just literally yesterday, I was talking with a guy that we're going to be doing a project in Philadelphia here in May. And he dropped something on my spirit. I'm like, man, that's a great idea. And I'm like, how do I pull that together in what, 2.5 months? And it's a big launching a book, basically, is what we're going to be doing. So I was like, how am I going to do that in 2.5 months? Well, I can do it with AI. I couldn't do it before, but I can do it with AI. So I'm already starting the process, but it's not just me just say AI, hey, write this book. I'm putting in the inputs. I'm getting feedback. I'm talking to my wife, Cheryl, about it. We're going to be working through all the details and make sure it's the right project for us. Virtual connection over real intimacy and reflection. Don't get lost in AI. Don't let it distract you to the point that you lose that intimacy and reflection. Productivity without real presence. You can be productive with AI, so productive, and it's really nothing. It's just an AI spit out kind of deal, and it's not really all that connected to what you're doing. Here's some more warning signs. Replacing conversations with prompts. So I can prompt my AI, but I'm having a conversation with my wife. Right? So now I've had conversation with my AI too. When they get off track, I said, "Easer, you're off track, dude. I don't know where that
You
came
are so
from."
nice to your AI. I'd be like, no, that's not what I asked for.
Exactly. It's like, no, no, let's get back. Come on back, bring it, dial it back. Now let's do this. Oh, I love it when my AI apologizes and says,
Me
"You're right."
too. But then it still gets it wrong. Like,
Still
I'm
gets
like,
it
you're not
wrong.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When
I
the
said, okay,
5.2 came, no, 5.1 came out with ChatGPT, I was going off. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Happens all the time. So use AI to avoid hard, engaging talks. In other words, you just default to AI instead of engaging with your spouse, engaging with your business partner, engaging with the situation. You just kind of default back to AI. Well, that's not healthy. It's not healthy. And letting screens mediate your emotions. So don't get all wrapped up and emotionally connected to that situation. Understand it's a tool. Now, it's a tool that kind of speaks back to you, right? So it's a speaking tool. I'm thinking that eventually this AI technology is literally going to be in a automated robot, basically walking around our home, and that's our AI, right? So it's getting to that point, but you have to still be um, deta detach yourself from the screen and watch your emotions. So for singles, AI can become a substitute for growth. You can lean so heavily into your AI that you're not growing anymore. It's just like a default. It's like you wake up in the morning, plug in AI, and just AI just runs everything. You're not growing anymore. You're not reaching out. You're not stretching. You're not learning anything anymore. You're just allowing AI to dictate everything that happens, and that's not healthy. For married couples, and this is a big one that we focus on in our workshops, AI can become a third voice in the marriage. So much of a third voice that you stop listening to your spouse. Because you say, no, I'm sorry, Cheryl, Easer said that we need to go in this direction. And the spouse is saying, well, hold on. Why are we doing it? Because Easer said, Easer said it. And Easer's smarter than both of us combined. Okay. It's the smartest thing on the planet that we know of and connected to. So obviously we need to follow Easer. And so
See, Eve
once
ain't gonna
you
say that though. Eve gonna be like, I said it. And Adam ain't gonna know that he's been saying it. It's like, wait a minute now, Casper. Now you know what's happening. Look.
I do. Exactly. So here's what you need to master, right? We're starting to come around the corner here. Here's what you need to master. The first thing you need to master is your inputs. You need to make sure you know what you're inputting and what you're expecting out of that input, the input that you're putting in. So you need to master your inputs into your AI. You need to master your thoughts. Have your thoughts in line so you know when you get that response back where you're going to go after that. Now in the project I was talking about, I put some inputs in, and I got some really good feedback from AI on this project. So now I'm going to take that feedback to Cheryl, and then her and I are going to discuss it and see which one of those tracks. It gave me like 6 different options. I was like, man, this is off the chain. So now I'm going to take those 6 different options and take them to Cheryl. We're going to go through each one by one and figure out how we want to proceed forward with this project. And that's our thoughts. And then once we have our thoughts in place, then we start to get our reactions, and our reactions are, wow, that's pretty good. And then we go back and refine it some more in the AI project. But I have some questions for you, and I want some interaction from you guys. And I'd like for you to unmute to answer this question. Name one strength that you have that you feel AI amplifies. What is the strength you think that AI amplifies for you, Erica?
Ooh, my vision.
Your vision. Okay. Unpack that a little bit. What do you mean?
Yep, I do. Yep. As someone late diagnoses of being neurospicy, I'm always thinking 3 and 5 years ahead. Like I'm always like anticipating things that most people can't even see. AI allows me to get those big thoughts out in a way that I can now easily or more easily articulate exactly all the thoughts and maybe sometimes too many words I have in my head and
Yeah.
keep it very crisp and concise.
Yeah. Absolutely. Matt, you have any thoughts on that?
I think it was almost the same thing. Like, I took the Strengths Finder test a while back, and my number one quality was like futuristic, and then like
I love
strategic,
this.
analytical, like Grace laughs because it's totally like, yeah, it's how I show up. So yeah, just like always visionary, strategizing, kind of like looking down the road. So I think it helps add structure to that because it's like, okay, I see this future reality. Like, how can that actually work or like come
Yes,
into
man.
being? So, yeah, I think I believe it's a great strength and a good thing. And then, yeah, this just like helps me add some backbone to it, but also like keep it in check because I think anyone who's like that knows the shadow side is like sometimes you're like stuck 10 steps in the future and you're like, okay, what about like today? So
Right there, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now, this next question is a little different. Name one weakness AI exposes. What weakness is AI exposing?
Exposes people who don't check facts. That's what to
Mm.
me,
Yeah.
that right there. You know. Because I told you, like, I'm sure some of y'all, if you, it seems like all of us are like, no, we checking it. Some people are
Hmm.
like, nope, whatever AI said. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Mm-mm.
it exposes folks who do not literally do research.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. 100%. All right. Any other feedback?
And you're at 5 minutes and 36 seconds.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So AI must serve your vision. Do not let AI take you off your vision. Whatever your vision is, it's your vision, not AI's vision. AI is going to help you magnify your vision and turn it into something, but don't let AI take you off your vision. AI needs to serve your values. Now, if you allow AI to go off on tangents, it could take you off of your value line. So make sure you are very mindful of that. And tell it, say, Easer, all right, we don't play that. We need to be focused on this here.
Homie, don't play that.
Yeah. And then your vows. What are your vows to yourself, to your cause, to your mission, to your spouse, to your everything, right? To make sure you're on track with that. Here's reality. What you don't govern, technology will gladly guide for you. If you don't govern it, technology and the world and everybody else will be
That's
happy
good.
to
That's
insert
good.
their mindset, their vision into you. So just be very mindful of that, whether it's AI or not. And remember, AI is a servant, not a spouse or a business partner. So make sure you treat it as a servant and not a spouse or a business partner, and you'll be fine. Tools don't replace truth. If you don't master your inner Adam and Eve in the growing world of AI, you may just outsource your future. So I'd be extremely mindful of that. Now I'm going to do an actual 1 hour workshop. We're going to unpack a lot of the stuff we covered today. We're going to go into, it's going to be deep. We're going to have practical information. It's going to be transformational how we dive into this and really just unpack this. It's going to be in the university on the 28th. So next Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, we're going to unpack this in a way that's really going to be transformational. And you can reach out to my wife and I from our website, iamlovebuilders.net. I'm Casper Stockham. That's my email address, my phone number. That's my cell, my personal cell. And we have some prizes for you. We have some giveaways for you. Anyone that wants to access free purpose quiz, marriage quiz, singles quiz, love assessment, ebooks, or free videos. All you have to do is scan that QR code. It'll take you into our Love Hub, our God-centered Love Hub. And all those things are available for you guys. So, man, I really appreciate your time. Are there any final questions before we run out of time?
Mm, Not really a question I dropped in the chat as you were speaking, so I wouldn't forget. We're at 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Um, about AI is neutral. As someone that's lived in this space all day and building guardrails and governance around it, I would actually challenge that and being mindful that it's not neutral because it's also based off the builders of the system
Hmm.
and in the work of like understanding to like how the sausage is made as it relates to like the large language models, being mindful of like which systems you're using can have an impact too on like what comes out of it because we all have our own just natural biases, right? And so as we're building things, you're trying to be neutral, but inherently we still bring our own lived experiences, and that can actually have an impact as to what your output you might get from various AI systems as well. So
Yeah,
just to be mindful of that, and it just goes really to the point that we all mentioned about like checking, your sources, making sure the information is being provided, particularly if you're going deep on something, right? That it's actual good, reliable information as well. And I remind people of that. And a lot of times I actually use some AI systems that have like, depending on what I'm working on, more cultural nuance
hmm,
um, piece added to it so that you can get some of that information built into your responses.
yeah. And you're 100% right. And I was hopefully I was trying to convey what you just said. What I didn't say, which is what you said, was whoever's building AI, that attitude is kind of built into the AI. So when I was talking about being neutral, I'm saying neutral in the respect that, and you're going to get different responses depending on, you could put that same information in one AI and get something different. So it's not that it's telling the truth, it's telling its perception of reality based upon what was
Amen.
put into it, right? So you just have to be
Yeah.
mindful of all that as you're building these things out, So
Yep. So
yeah,
true. No,
100%.
thank you. Great,
Yeah.
great presentation too.
Hmm.
Really good gems.
Yeah. Any other questions? We have 20 seconds.
I know, right? Great job. You got through it.
Thank you.
No tech issues. Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. So you guys feel free to reach out to us. We are super
definitely.
available, and hop into the Love Hub. There's a lot of great free stuff in there for you guys.
Will do. Thank
All right.
you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
everything.
you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
That was great.
All right.
It
You're welcome.
was.
Dr. B, you're muted again.
Thank you for Scott, because if I don't figure out, I need to just have my own special unmute yourself. The number one word